I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, today we're reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 23. Let's focus on verses 17 and 18. At the end of the 70 years, the Lord will restore Tyre, and she will go back into business, prostituting herself with all the kingdoms of the world on the face of the earth. But her profits and wages will be dedicated to the Lord. They will not be stored or saved, for her profit will go to those who live in the Lord's presence, to provide them with ample food and sacred clothing. So Isaiah 23 is a prophecy about the downfall of Tyre's influence in commercial trading and on the high seas. And these prophecies against the nations began with Babylon and they ended with Tyre. Now, if Babylon symbolizes power, then Tyre stands for commerce. And the connection between them is very clear. Both represent the attempts of man to live without God. Now in the Revelation chapters 17 and 18, the two nations are combined as representatives of the world's seductive and oppressive powers. Tyre is portrayed as a prostitute plying her trade. Other prophets had things to say about Tyre, guys like Ezekiel and Amos, for instance. Two things emerge here, though, and they deserve closer inspection. The first has to do with the danger of materialism. Tyre's commercial activity is compared to that of a prostitute. The figure seems appropriate. Commercialism can easily assume the policy of the highest profit, regardless of the means to that profit. It is this characteristic of idolatry and spiritual adultery which is underlined in the book of the Revelation. Revelation 18, verse 3. For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries, speaking of this great whore of Babylon. You know, few businessmen run on principles that seek first the kingdom and the glory of God. Now consider Chick-fil-A, the only major Christian-owned restaurant that I'm aware of that has taken the idea of observing the Sabbath seriously. And we need to take heed to Jesus' warning about the seductiveness of material things. Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 and 20. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. You know, the second danger that is mentioned in today's chapter has to do with God's ownership of everything. All property. Isaiah gives us a glimpse of things to come. He sees a day when Tyre's earnings will be given to the Lord's treasury. And so what appears to have happened is that Tyre has converted to the Lord. And the Lord then uses her to bless Israel. So if our culture would recognize that God owns everything, well, then perhaps we would be less obsessed with prostituting ourselves in order to obtain stuff. Instead, we would approach the Lord and we would ask Him to provide for us according to His great knowledge and plan. At least that was what Isaiah was trying to convince Judah of, and I think it's something that we could see even in our own day. Just seek the Lord and walk in His ways and let Him do what He's going to do for people who acknowledge Him and who bless Him and who share Him with others. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people like you. And yes, we need your monthly support. Donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. You know, another way to help is just tell people about Groundworks Ministries. Share these podcasts with friends and family and on your social media. And of course, you can always direct folks to our website, groundworksministries.com.